Imagine growing a plant so valuable, a single harvest could earn more than an entire year working a normal job. Stick around because plant member 7 alone made one farmer $2.3 million in a single year. Most people think farming is old-fashioned. They picture giant rice fields, endless hard labor, and tiny profits. But what if I told you some of the world's richest small-scale farmers are not growing traditional crops at all? They're growing rare plants, plants used in luxury restaurants, high-end skincare, medicine, perfume, health supplements, and billion-dollar wellness industries. And because demand is exploding while supply stays low, prices are going insane. Today, we're counting down the top 10 profitable plants that could potentially change your financial future. Some require little space, some grow in harsh climates, some can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And one of these plants is called green gold for a reason. Also, quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research, understand your local regulations, and consult professionals before making any major business decisions. Some plants on this list may have legal restrictions in certain areas, so always check your local laws. Let's begin. Wasabi. And no, I'm not talking about that green paste you get at sushi restaurants. That stuff, 99% of the time, that's horseradish with green food coloring. Real wasabi, scientifically known as Wasabia japonica, is a member of the Brassicaceae family, same as mustard and horseradish. But here's where it gets interesting. Wasabi requires very specific growing conditions. It needs clean, running water. It naturally grows along stream beds in Japanese mountain valleys. It prefers cool temperatures between 45 degrees to 70 degrees Fahrenheit, high humidity, and partial shade. It takes about 18 months to 2 years to reach harvestable size. Now, why is this profitable? Because the global demand for authentic wasabi far outstrips supply. Japan can only produce about 5,000 to 6,000 tons per year, and domestic demand alone is much higher. Here's the pricing breakdown. A single pound of fresh wasabi rhizome, that's the part you grate, sells wholesale for $80 to $120. Retail, you're looking at $150 to $200 per pound. Some specialty markets charge even more. The leaves and stems are also edible and sell for $20 to $40 per pound. 1 acre of properly managed wasabi can yield $200,000 to $300,000 annually. Saffron. Number 9 on our list is the most expensive spice in the world, saffron. Now you might be thinking, wait, people do grow saffron. And yes, they do, but not nearly enough. The global saffron market is valued at over $500 million and growing at about 6% annually. Yet 90% of the world's saffron comes from Iran. Spain, India, Greece, and Afghanistan produce smaller amounts. In the United States, commercial saffron production is virtually non-existent. There's your opportunity. Saffron comes from the Crocus sativus flower, commonly called the saffron crocus. Each flower produces only 3 red stigmas, which are the saffron threads. It takes approximately 150,000 to 200,000 flowers to produce just 1 kilogram of saffron. That's why it's so expensive. Here's the pricing. Wholesale saffron sells for $500 to $5,000 per pound, depending on grade and origin. The highest quality Iranian and Kashmiri saffron can fetch $10,000 or more per pound retail. Even lower-grade saffron sells for $1,500 to $2,000 per pound. We're talking about a product worth more than gold by weight. Bamboo. Bamboo is the fastest-growing plant on Earth. Some species grow up to 3 feet per day under ideal conditions. A single clump can produce 20 to 40 new culms, those are the poles, every year. After establishment, a bamboo grove requires virtually no irrigation, no fertilizer, and no pesticides. It's a perennial crop that produces for 50 to 100 years. Here's the profit breakdown. Timber bamboo poles sell for $10 to $100 each, depending on size, species, and quality. A well-managed acre can produce 5,000 to 15,000 poles per acre annually. That's $50,000 to $1.5 million per acre annually. But even at conservative estimates, say $20 per pole and 3,000 poles per acre, you're looking at $60,000 per acre per year. But poles are just the beginning. Bamboo shoots are a delicacy in Asian cuisine. Fresh bamboo shoots sell for $3 to $8 per pound. A single acre can produce 2,000 to 4,000 pounds of shoots annually. That's another $6,000 to $32,000 per acre. Then there's bamboo fiber. The textile industry is desperate for sustainable alternatives to cotton and synthetic fabrics. Bamboo fiber is softer than cotton, more absorbent, naturally antibacterial, and requires 1/3 the water that cotton to produce. The global bamboo textile market is projected to reach $2.5 billion by 2027. Bamboo charcoal is another high-value product. It's used for water filtration, air purification, and as a premium cooking fuel. Bamboo charcoal sells for $2 to $5 per pound wholesale. Medicinal mushrooms, lion's mane, reishi, and cordyceps. Let me hit you with some numbers. The global functional mushroom market was valued at $25 billion in 2022 and projected to reach $50 billion by 2030. That's a compound annual growth rate of nearly 10%. Lion's mane supplements alone have seen a 200% growth in online sales over the past 2 years. Reishi has been used in traditional Chinese medicine for 2,000 years and now is mainstream in Western wellness culture. Dried lion's mane sells for $30 to $60 per pound wholesale. Extracts, which concentrate the active compounds, sell for $200 to $500 per pound. Reishi is particularly well-suited to indoor cultivation on supplemented hardwood sawdust blocks. Dried Cordyceps militaris sells for $1,000 to $3,000 per pound. Extracts, $2,000 to $5,000 per pound. Turkey tail, used in cancer therapy support, particularly in Japan, growing market, sells for $30 to $50 per pound dried. Artemisia, sweet wormwood. Artemisinin content in dried plant material ranges from 0.5% to 1.5% by weight. Pharmaceutical-grade artemisinin, the isolated compound, sells for $400 to $600 per kilogram. But here's the key. You don't need to extract pure artemisinin yourself. Many pharmaceutical companies and extractors will buy dried Artemisia annua biomass directly. Dried plant material with good artemisinin content sells for $3 to $8 per kilogram. That might not sound like much, but yields are high, 2 to 4 tons of dried biomass per acre. That's $6,000 to $32,000 per acre per year. But the real money is in value-added processing. If you can extract and purify artemisinin on-site, your revenue multiplies. Small-scale extraction equipment costs $50,000 to $200,000, but the margins are extraordinary. Spirulina. Spirulina powder sells wholesale for $15 to $40 per kilogram, depending on quality and certification. Organic, cold-pressed, or specialty spirulina commands $50 to $100 per kilogram. At the low end, a quarter-acre operation generates $54,000 to $292,000 annually. At the high end, $180,000 to $730,000. But here's where it gets really interesting. Spirulina is not just a food supplement. The phycocyanin pigment, that blue color, is one of the most valuable natural food colorants in the world. It's used in everything from sports drinks to ice cream to cosmetics. Phycocyanin extract sells for $50,000 to $200,000 per kilogram. Yes, you heard that right. A single kilogram of purified phycocyanin is worth more than a luxury car. Oud, agarwood. This is the most expensive natural raw material in the perfume industry. High-quality oud oil sells for $30,000 to $80,000 per kilogram. The wood itself, infected with a specific mold that creates the resinous heartwood, sells for $10,000 to $100,000 per kilogram, depending on grade. And here's the absolutely insane part. Agarwood is produced by trees that are otherwise worthless. It's the infection that creates the value. A single mature Aquilaria tree can produce 5 to 20 kilograms of agarwood. At an average price of $20,000 per kilogram for cultivated agarwood, that's $100,000 to $400,000 per tree. Even at conservative estimates of $5,000 per kilogram for lower grades, you're looking at $25,000 to $100,000 per tree. Hemp, industrial, fiber and CBD varieties. Fiber hemp yields 3 to 6 tons of dry stalks per acre. Bast fiber sells for $300 to $600 per ton. Herds sell for $100 to $300 per ton. At 4 tons per acre with a 25% bast fiber yield, that's 1 ton of bast fiber and 3 tons of herds. $300 to $600 plus $300 to $900. So $600 to $1,500 per acre in raw material sales. Hemp seed oil sells for $10 to $30 per liter. Cold-pressed organic hemp seed oil commands $50 plus per liter. Stevia. This is the plant that could end the sugar industry as we know it. Stevia is a natural zero-calorie sweetener that's 200 to 300 times sweeter than sugar. It doesn't raise blood glucose levels, it doesn't cause tooth decay, and it comes from a plant, Stevia rebaudiana, that grows like a weed in the right conditions. Dried stevia leaves sell for $5 to $15 per kilogram wholesale. That doesn't sound impressive until you realize that stevia yields 2,000 to 4,000 kilograms of dried leaves per acre. That's $10,000 to $60,000 per acre. But the real money is in extraction. Stevia extracts, particularly high-purity RAB and RAM compounds, sell for $200 to $600 per kilogram. A single acre of stevia can produce 100 to 300 kilograms of extract. That's $20,000 to $180,000 per acre. Some premium extracts command even higher prices. Ginseng. Let me explain why ginseng is so valuable. Ginseng has been used in traditional Chinese medicine for over 2,000 years. It's considered an adaptogen. It helps the body resist stress and restore balance. Modern research has identified ginsenosides, the active compounds, that show neuroprotective, anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer, and immune-modulating effects. Clinical trials suggest ginseng may improve cognitive function, reduce fatigue, and even have anti-aging properties. The global ginseng market is worth over $2 billion annually. Here's where it gets absolutely insane. Cultivated American ginseng, grown in fields under shade cloth, sells for $200 to $600 per dried pound. That's already excellent. But wild American ginseng, or wild simulated ginseng grown in forest conditions, sells for $800 to $2,000 per dried pound. There's also a massive opportunity in value-added products. Ginseng extracts sell for $500 to $2,000 per kilogram. Ginseng capsules, tinctures, and teas command retail prices of $50 to $200 per pound equivalent. If you can establish a brand and direct-to-consumer sales, your margins multiply.